own journal that I created because that's what I wanted, is some place to write all the teenagers' names down and write down what I was grateful for and all the joy that they brought to my life, and just have it in one place, as well as a place to pray scriptures over them, and over me, because we often get discouraged and we don't see the good that we're doing. We just see all the ways that we think we're failing. But
Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine Galloway, certified high performance coach with another episode of the Resilient Mother podcast. This month, we're talking about mastering your own unique resilience. Hopefully, you've been listening to us all year and you have gathered strategies, tips, and ideas on how to be the resilient mother you've always wanted to be, so we can raise the next resilient generation. Boy, is it needed today. I have my guest with me today, which is Kim. And Kim is a foster mom and an adoptive mom. And we are going to get into that special and unique point of view of motherhood, because all motherhood is welcome here, and we are happy to support you. Kim, thank you for being here. Please tell us more about you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I am a foster and adoptive mama of teenage girls and little girls. I have a 4 and a 5-year-old, and then every other week or every other 2 weeks, we live in a cottage with teenage girls. So currently I am off duty at the moment. I am sitting here with my Christmas tree and my dog's outside, and my husband has the kiddos out somewhere. I don't really know where they went. I think it was like a hands-on children's museum of some sort. So I'm enjoying a little bit of quiet and peacefulness, but normally my life is total chaos.
I think most moms feel that today. I feel like we're trying to organize chaos in a way and create structure, because from every moment it changes. Someone needs us, or the world is ever changing. We've had huge shifts in what moms do from home. And in some ways it's beautiful. In some ways it's made more complexity as well. And I'm curious, as we start out, what does resilience mean to you?
Oh, I love the book Grit by Angela Duckworth. I remember learning about this several years ago from someone who I worked with, and he just kind of took this stance on grit like it was something that could help everybody thrive in their life. And just the resiliency of being like a bulldog and hanging on and not letting go. Resilience to me is, I think of that bulldog image, and I don't necessarily see myself as like that bulldog image of hanging on, but I guess on the inside, my attitude is, this is real. This is life. I'm not giving up. I'm not letting go. I'm not laying down and letting anything else win. For me, I have a lot of really, really hard days. And I have a lot of moments, hard moments with people, children. And yeah, I always circle back. I always get up and I always not confront them again, but I revisit the situation. I don't just let it go. I think in the moment, it's really easy to just be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. One more day, one more second. Like, there's no way my body, my emotions, like, God, please help, because I can't do this. But you know what? I do. I go to sleep, I get back up, and I do keep going. So I'd like to think of myself as a resilient person who wants to learn more about how to be content in the resiliency. I would say that I'm resilient, but I don't know that I'm always happy about it.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to somehow find joy in tribulation. We're human, not always easy. I think hindsight is always, 50-50 afterwards. We can kind of see why that needed to happen in the lesson. But when you're in the thick of it, it's kind of hard. And sometimes in motherhood, it can be really intense, because it's not only about you, it's about those children that are counting on you and your family unit. And so we feel very deep in our hearts this need to rise to the occasion. And we don't always get it right. But the idea is that we can bounce back stronger. In my mind, it's not this idea that resilience, that you got to make it happen, push to burnout. No, we got too much burnout going on. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just being stronger and wiser around, and figuring out what tools and strategies help you get back to center, get back to alignment, get back to peace faster, so you can be that pillar for your family, or be like, I'm not okay right now. Let me check back in a bit or whatnot. So,
Mommy needs a timeout.
yes. Mommy gets a timeout. Mommy gets a nap. Mommy needs a minute. Like, yeah, hide in the closet, have a chocolate. Okay, I'm good. Let's go. No, but I'm curious what your motherhood story is, because not everyone's a foster or adoptive mom. I myself am a birth mom, and then I've had a couple different situations with my kids that I've shared on the podcast before, but I love bringing in different points of view, because I know there's somebody else out there that may feel like they're alone in their journey, or maybe they're got mommy guilt that this wasn't the motherhood that they thought, when the truth is you get to make it whatever you want to make it. And so can you share your how you came to be a foster mother, an adoptive mother, why you chose that path, and let someone else be seen?
Well, the first woman I want to be seen is the woman who cannot have children, because that's who I was for a long time and probably will be for the rest of my life. But I always wanted to be a mama. I was one of those kids, the cliche story of just holding babies, obsessed with babies. And when I was in my 20s, I really was like itching to, okay, like when's the time when my life really starts? Because right now I'm just working. I'm putting my husband through school. This isn't real life. Real life is like holidays and family get-togethers and going to sports together. And I just wasn't feeling like Kevin and I were a family. I mean, we were a couple, but we got married at 21. And I know that's wrong to say, like, you're not a family, but to me, it was just, when can we have kids and start kind of the family life that I always imagined? I grew up with 6 brothers, so my family was huge and boisterous and crazy and fun, and I was used to that as real life. And so I kind of had this mindset all throughout my 20s that real life hadn't started yet. And then we started trying to get pregnant in 2015. So 10 years ago, we made the choice. Okay, we did the 5-year plan. Let's go for it. And after a year, I was still having health struggles, and just there was nothing. There was no hint of why I couldn't get pregnant. So after 1 year, that's when the official diagnosis comes. It's 1 year of attempting to get pregnant and not being able to conceive. So after a year, Kevin and I kind of looked at each other and were like, I think this is going to be kind of harder than we expected. But we still didn't really do anything about it. I had no money to do any of the medical tests. And when you are struggling to get pregnant, when you go to a fertility
clinic,
like a fertility doctor, they kind of push you towards IVF, which works for a lot of people. It is expensive. But I just didn't feel like I wanted to pursue a lot of medical solutions. I don't know. There was something kind of holding me back. I think that because of my health struggles throughout the years, I just didn't want to put my body through more. I was like, you know what? Of course I physically want to have a baby, but I don't physically need to have a baby. So I kind of just put that on hold. And as we were exploring all the different options, my husband actually really wanted to adopt a sibling group. And we watched the movie Instant Family. Have you seen that movie with Mark Wahlberg?
Nope. I'm gonna go watch it now.
It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. There's a lot of really great lines in it, but it just kind of teaches you about.
I have seen that one. Sorry. No,
okay.
Yeah.
Foster and adoptive journey. So the movie was actually based off of, I think, the director and his family. He and his wife adopted a sibling group. So Kevin saw that movie, and that's the path that he took off on. I was not there. I was not feeling it. I was like, I need a baby. Where can I get a baby? And because the baby wasn't coming from my own body, I was like, well, we got to figure out how to adopt a baby. And we still had no money. And so Kevin's like, well, foster care is an avenue that we can go through, and we can adopt a sibling group and our family will grow faster, and it's not as expensive as adoption. But I would like to say that my heart changed quickly. And it kind of did once we had enough conversations. I feel like God was really telling me, like, hey, just be open. Like, you don't have to say yes to anything, but just be open. So my husband was ready. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to do the research. So I started doing the research. And then in that process, we were able to give our adoptive profile to some of the places in Florida that could just keep it on file, who had interactions with birth mothers. And then our profile was being shown to birth mothers without it costing us anything. We didn't have to file with any one agency. And I would like to say, since your podcast is about resiliency, I would say my husband and I were pit bulls at that point in time. We were so stupid because we would just call people and email them and be like, hey, we want to adopt a baby. How can we do that? And they're like, get in line and also pay money, because this is not how you do it. And I'm like, I don't care. We're desperate. So that was kind of our life for several months, was just like, okay, we're open. What's going to happen? And God really surprised us. He did bring us to a birth mother who was 8 months pregnant, and she was making an adoption plan for the first time. And we met her. She's so tall and beautiful and funny. And we ate dinner together, and she chose us, and she gave us our daughter. So
Wow.
I'm on one end of the adoption story, in that a total miracle that we were able to meet with her, and she saw something in us. Honestly, it was Kevin's love for pets, because we had a turtle and bunnies, and our daughter's birth mother is just obsessed with animals. And so she saw our adoptive profile, and she's like, oh, I love this family. They love animals. And what she didn't know is that I don't love animals. Kevin does. So yeah, we like to say that, our turtle brought our daughter into our life. And then a year later, she gave birth to another beautiful daughter. And we had made the plan at the beginning of the pregnancy, because she felt comfortable and safe with us. And I do not take that for granted. And I do not testify that it's me, because it was COVID, and it was a hard time to adopt. But as soon as she got pregnant, she sent me that picture and was like, do you want another baby? And I was like, girl, I have your baby. And so we got sisters. So we did end up adopting a sibling group, and I got my babies. So everybody won. It has been way harder, way, 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 way harder than I ever could have imagined, raising two babies that are 1 year apart. And, they have trauma, prenatal trauma. So I struggle with that a lot. I'm so grateful to Ashley for giving us our family. In a few months, we'll drive down to Florida and visit her. And the girls are getting old enough where they know who Ashley is, and they know she's a part of our family and a part of their story. They tell me all the time that they came from her belly, and they just know. So God has been really gracious in that adoptive journey. But as the girls were growing up, I had a really hard time staying home with my girls by myself. And Kevin realized that. So he looked for a job for us to be foster parents together. And his solution was, hey, let's just add a bunch of teenage girls to the mix, and I will help you, and we'll do it together. And that is what we do. And it works. It's like I said, it's a chaotic life, but yeah, I am a foster and adoptive
how
mama.
that works, though. I'm not quite following, like, a group of teenage girls and weekends or something you mentioned earlier. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's a weird setup. So basically it's a lifestyle, I would say, because it's not like you have a 9 to 5, or your husband or you, like, I don't just work and he doesn't just work. Like, we both work together, and then we're both off duty together. So this is our off duty house that the children's home provides to us. When we are not working, they allow us to pay half price to live in a home that is off campus. But when we go to work next Tuesday, we go to work for a solid week and we live in the cottage with the teenage girls.
Wow.
And we take them to school, we feed them dinner, we do all the activities, we take care of all the needs while we're there. But then when we leave, another house parent takes care of them. And we have separate quarters in the back. So when we live there, we have a room, and then our daughters have a room, and we have a bathroom. And then we have a shared living space. And then when the other house parent is there, they have a master bedroom and a bathroom in their master bedroom. So we have separate living areas, sort of. We just share like the computer, the desk, the couch and TV, and we're not there at the same time. We just have a meeting. We go over everything. We talk about all the teenagers and what's going on with them. And our supervisor lets us know what's going on, what needs to happen, what's on the schedule. We follow a really strict schedule, and we have a budget, and we're the mama and dad when we're there. And our daughters come with us, and our dog comes with us. And then when we're off duty, we are free to do whatever we want to do. But, I still have daughters, and I still have to get them to school. And so it's a really interesting life because it's exhausting, but so much fun. And it brings a lot of new experiences to my daughter's life, and they are adopted, and the teenagers that we work with are separated from their birth families at the moment. So they are in DSS and foster care, and they get to see their families occasionally. But my daughters are seeing what family can look like. I think the definition of family looks different for different people.
Yeah.
And our family is like, hey, these are your bonus sisters. And they ask about Eden and Shiloh's birth mom. And I openly share about our situation. I think there's a respect there of like, hey, you're separated from your birth family, and, Eden and Shiloh are as well. Obviously, we're their parents, and that's who they know as their parents, but there's going to be questions that they have later as they grow up. And I like that we live in a community that is already having those conversations. So I think it's going to be a little bit easier once
So
they
much
grow
more
up.
for them. Yeah. Open adoption has been found to be much more healthy because it's not a shock to their identity of who they are when they do find out. If they know from the beginning, it's better. So like I have a son whose dad's not in the picture. He just knows now. I'm not going to have that be a shock. We're going to gradually figure that piece out. And he's in counseling, and I'm trying to find, good male role models for his life as well. And what I like about, how many teenagers are there though? Like, is it?
So it ranges. When we first started, we had, actually, we worked in South Carolina with a children's home, and we started with one. We opened a brand new cottage. So we started with one. We got the second one the next week. We got the third one 2 weeks later, and we grew it to 8. And then we moved from there to this children's homes that we're at now in North Carolina. And they had only like 3 or 4 at the beginning when we transferred in. We've had 8, we've had 7, we've had 6. We're at 5 right now. I just got a new girl a few weeks ago. So she's getting used to everything. And I'm sure they're going to add another one. But it is around like the holidays and Christmas time, which is really, really hard for kids in the foster care system because they have all these memories, whether good or bad, from their family, their birth families. And, they struggle because they have traditions that they're missing. But at the same time, sometimes the holidays were difficult at home. Sometimes there was more domestic violence. And so it's like they're safe, but they love their families so much. Like there's just nothing that can replace that feeling of belonging. But I do know that in some cases, it's better to be safe and sad than with their families, but they love their families so much. So they just want to be with their families. So we try to keep them busy. We try to give them a lot of events and activities to go to. I think they're going to go ice skating this winter, and they just went to the North Carolina Panthers game. So it's cool that the place that we work in they're just so trauma informed. They just know, okay, this is hard for a kiddo. This transition is tough on them. They just saw something that reminded them of their family. And in some cases, they see their family, like walking down the road, or they can look stuff up at the internet, at school. And it's the reality of it. And this is what they're dealing with. And so we try to come alongside them and help them.
It's so interesting listening to you as a birth mom and thinking about the things that triggered me after adoption that I didn't expect to. I put a child up after an abusive marriage, tried to raise them, but the environment was toxic, couldn't provide for them. So 9 months old, which was really rough. I hadn't even stopped nursing, all these different things. So like seeing 9-month-olds triggered me for such a long time. Seeing families together, being told to forget about it, move on with my life, act like I was single, act like it never happened, act like I was never a mom. It's rough. My definition of family got completely shattered. And I love the idea of having a traditional family. I still don't have that, And then my next child comes and everyone's like, oh, it'll just be better when you have your next child and you'll forget and you'll be fine. Not true. It was very bittersweet to raise another child and get to that 9-month mark and realize how much I had missed, how much had been given up, what that exchange was, and just praying to God I made the right decision for that child, doing the best I could at the time with that knowledge. And so trauma in general is something I think people could be more sensitive to. Mm-hmm. Everyone's dealing with something. We should act like 75% of the people that we interact with, foster child, birth mom, you might not know, or not, divorce or not, health crisis or not, death in the family or not, suicidal ideation or not. I mean, there's so many things going on in the world today. Mm-hmm. We really should just realize somebody's going through something, and your interactions with them could be the thing that makes all the difference in that day, all the difference in that moment for them. I find a lot of comfort in the fact that like one parent who really shows up is enough for a child. Mm-hmm. And so being a foster child who's moving around and around and around and around, any positive interaction that they can have, anyone who can inspire them to believe that they have unlimited potential, that their past does not determine their future, that they can be whoever they need to be, it is so important. And I can hear that effort that you're doing. And it's so beautiful because I think it's like this elevated way of being a mother that I think is really admirable. Like, it's great that I've gotten to have kids. I haven't got to have the traditional family. I don't have a partner right now. Not what I expected at all, but still my motherhood. And I never expected to be a single parent, but always be a good one. You never expect to be a foster or adoptive parent, but you were always going to be a good parent, right? So I just get to decide what that is now with what I have, what I do have control of, and make the most of it. And in the end too, my kids have agency. I can do my very best, and they're still going to have to make their own choices and live their own life. So understand that, any moms who are listening. I mean, I love how inclusive this podcast is, and that we've had almost every possible kind of mom on here, and even just those who wanted to share their expertise about family or resilience or different things. And the idea is that you have a tool or strategy or an idea or inspiration even just to continue on your journey and feel supported.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we need that. It's incredibly discouraging being a mother these days. I think I spend a lot of time beating myself up because I'm not the mom I expected to be. I like to say that I am the fun mom, but because I have that high energy and it's like I can be really high energy and fun, and then I just take that energy, and when I'm frustrated, it just comes out in that same like volume. Like I don't know how to be chill. My husband is like, at the beginning of this year, it's funny that it's almost the end of the year, but at the beginning he's like, our word for the year needs to be chill. We just need to chill. And I thought about that recently. I'm like, I wonder like how we're doing with that. I wonder if I ask him like, hey, remember when our word for the year was chill? Now, compared to last year, which was our first year foster parenting, I will say that yes, we have gotten a lot better with some things. And foster parenting has been fantastic for our marriage because we get to do it together. And it's been fantastic for my anxiety because I work with my best friend. He's right there. He picks up my slack when I am failing, when I am struggling, when I am hurting. I can rely on him, and I know that he can rely on me too. And with the teenagers, there's things that I do with the teenagers that he's not going to be able to do, or it's just not ever going to happen. And that's okay. He's really great at connecting with them, but I'm the one who goes in their rooms in the morning, wakes them up, gives them their medicine. I mean, I do a lot of connecting and relationship building with these teenagers, and I can't heal their trauma. I pray that God will give them peace because he's the only one who has the power to replace their pain. And they're gonna live with that pain for the rest of their life. But I do know that in this line of work, and really like you said, any positive interaction that kids who are struggling have with positive adults is going to help them heal. The relationship itself helps them heal. Seeing Kevin and I interact, seeing me parent my children, even though I'm not a perfect parent. And at dinner time, when my little girl is throwing a tantrum because she doesn't want to eat this, or she wants to go outside, or, I'm teaching my daughter manners, and I have 5 teenage girls who are watching me. A few weeks ago, I had my 5-year-old being a little sassy, and I had another teenager who was sassy earlier that day. So she was home instead of somewhere else with all the other teenagers. And I said, since you're home, let me show you. This is how we discipline in a godly way. And I walked her through, and she was listening. So I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this. I walked her through, hey, this is what my daughter did. This is how we handled it. And now this is what we're going to do to repair the relationship. She apologized. I apologize. We pray together. We ask God to forgive us because, and I always tell my daughters, God forgives you. It's not that you ask and he forgives. It's he forgives, and we are just having a conversation about what happened and letting him know that we are sorry and we accept his forgiveness. But has this teenager ever seen healthy discipline? Right. I don't know. She may have. But for me to have her in my home, it takes the example of, hey, this is my 5-year-old. This is the bad choice that she made. This is the bad choice that I made in getting upset with her. We both apologize to each other. We make it right. And then we read a book together. And so I sat in the hallway with my 5-year-old on my lap. I read her the book. And then actually my teenager wanted to read her the book as well. So she ended up reading to her. So that teeny tiny connection point, it gives me a lot of hope. And when I'm beating myself up, I'm like, but I'm doing a lot of good. I am doing a lot of good. And I
think we forget sometimes we're planting seeds. We don't always get to see the fruit or the plant in full bloom, but we do get to plant seeds, and we do get to nourish people or start growing those roots for people. And I love that you share your faith so openly, because God's definitely what sustained me through everything that I've been through. And there is so much power in him being a part of anyone's life, no matter what it looks like and no matter what challenges they're facing. That can make all the difference because God's always there. His love is always there. And it can transform lives. And it's important that we can share that when we have the opportunity to. So I love that that gets to be a part of your work, because they may have never been exposed to that. They may not know who God is. And I don't know where I'd be if I didn't know that. Like, that is my foundation. That is what keeps me getting up every day and facing whatever comes my way, knowing I've got him by my side. And so thank you for that reminder as well. And I love what kind of mother you're learning to be from the fostering, because you're realizing you're an example in 2 different ways. You're an example to your kid with how you handle that situation, and you're being an example to the teenager too. And I think we sometimes forget the influence that we have. I mean, you're intentional and you know about it, but like in our everyday lives as mom, when someone sees us interacting with our kid,
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I will say sometimes I could do better too. I get really focused when I go out and do errands with a busy 5-year-old who like run across the store on me. So like I'm in the zone. I may not notice people around me, but something I've been more aware of is I want to bring more of this kind of energy in my everyday life because it's important I share it more. And I think if we put our mind as a mind of service and that we're a responsibility for our energy when we leave and go into different environments, then we have this opportunity to be an example. But you know, when you're doing good things too, you're always going to have the haters too, and you're always going to have somebody questioning what you're doing, or you're not getting that result, or yeah, oh look, you're just a mom too. Oh, you say that too. Like, but we have more in common than we do different, and we all want the same things. We all want to be loved. We want to know we're valued. We all want children to be happy and to thrive and be successful. And if we could focus more on that and support each other as mothers, I think the world would be a better place, and we would have more
Mm-hmm.
resilient children, and we'd have stronger families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people are always watching. I mean, I think about when I didn't have kids, I was always watching moms with their kids. I was always just like, oh, so curious about, hey, what are they doing and how are they handling that? And you see a family and you think, oh, the kids are so cute and look what they're doing. But then you see the mom handle things and you're like, oh, she has a perspective that I don't have. I'm just on the outside looking in. And I was jealous. I was definitely jealous in those years when I didn't have my own kids. But now, when I take my kids out in public, I am aware, and it's not always easy because I'm exhausted. I'm just like, I'm tired of being watched all the time. At work, I have a lot of accountability. I have my supervisors. I have other families that are um, watching how I handle things. And that can be a struggle because I'm like, no, I don't want to be like in a
Well,
fishbowl.
but here's the interesting fine line in the world that we live in today. We don't want fake either. Like we are striving for more authenticity in who people present themselves as. And we're human. We make mistakes. Have I told my kids to hurry up and get in the car? Absolutely. Have we been late and I'm a little frustrated? Absolutely. But if you saw most of our everyday interactions and not just that moment, you would see how well things are going. So we don't have the right to judge anyone until we've walked a mile in their shoes. I really like that saying. And if anything, I'd love for my life to be like a pair of shoes worn out with service. And so when you kind of keep those things in mind, I think it's also helpful. And I think too, just like every individual is unique. Every one of those teenagers is unique. Your own children are unique. Your motherhood is different from mine. Mine is different from yours. It's still motherhood. It's still sacred. And these are still individuals under our care. And they don't come with a manual, like
Darn it.
No, that I'd just be like page 8. Like, that's how I deal with this teenage thing, or this is how I deal with being interrupted. But you kind of have to take it from moment to moment, and then your kids change too. Like you figure something out, and then it changes. That same teenager maybe the next time won't listen, but that time it did, so you took advantage of it. Like, who's to say what's completely right or wrong? But I think when you have God on your side, it helps because God knows me better than I know myself. And he knows my children better than I know them. And if I have that formula in there, I think that's like kind of the secret sauce for any kind of mother is realizing you're not doing it alone. You don't have to do it alone. And you can build a community around it and get the resources that not only you need, but that your children need as well.
And I've been living that recently because I've been finding resources for my daughter who has more of like sensory seeker needs. You can see my couch. I was throwing her on the couch today just over and over and over again. Her body craves that impact, that crash impact on her bones and her joints. So we're working with therapists. We're taking her to occupational therapy. I'm asking ChatGPT like constantly for tips on how to just make her feel more comfortable in her body. And my husband and I both, we just have conversations all the time of like, okay, this is what she seems to need right now. And we're giving her medicine for a cold. We're giving her medicine for digestive issues. And we're just navigating all of these. Like, I want to take advantage of every resource that I possibly can to help my daughter feel comfortable in her body. And honestly, yesterday was a really hard day because she was just upset. most of the day. And it's kind of an old conversation. I just kind of look at Kevin and I'm just like, when, why, how, like, what can we do to help this girl? Because she is, she does not feel well. But today, it was 5 minutes of throwing her on the couch, and that gives me hope because Kevin and I are putting in the work. We are making progress. We are very, very self-aware of our family and what she needs. We're not clueless anymore. Before we were really struggling of like, what is going on? Does she have ADHD? What is the matter? And now that we have these diagnoses, we can say, okay, her muscles are tired. She fatigues easily. Her muscles need that crash and that impact. She can't concentrate right now. Her body is not able to concentrate right now or focus. So what can we do to help her get to that place where she's a little bit more comfortable? Her stomach hurts, so she's not eating dinner. Okay, we know that, so we're not going to push her to eat dinner right this second. I love that we are so committed to helping her. It still doesn't take away the frustration of when she's throwing the 20th tantrum of the day. I still don't know what to do with that. I frankly am just like,
yeah. God must have known you could handle it. I have to tell myself that all the time. So, especially with teenagers right now. But I have one who's having struggles somewhat similar to some of the struggles I had as a teen, but dealing with it in a completely different way. And I think the thing that's been the most helpful for me is she's gotten older and she can express more things as I've allowed her to have a voice. And so we've been able to have some real conversations where she's like, Mom, you're an extrovert. I'm not an extrovert. I don't know if I completely agree that with her and COVID and everything kind of changing what that is, but she does need more alone time than I do. She does need, she's learned what she needs to recover. And I'm so proud of her for being able to go, Mom, that works for you. That doesn't work for me.
mm-hmm.
That's been really helpful. But there was a time my kids, because of being divorced, just didn't tell me what their struggles were. And so now, like, some of it's coming out now. And like, there are stuff and things I've heard about now. There are some kids I want, some bullying and some stuff and the level of it, I just didn't know because they didn't want to burden Mom who was dealing with a lot. And so I couldn't address it at the time. So we kind of have the aftermath of stuff that I'm now like fiercely like, we're figured this out. Like, whereas I'm sad I couldn't have figured out at the time. So it's not perfect. Mm-hmm. It's not. There's no such thing as perfect. Perfect is boring anyway. So just give it all your heart. Give it all you've got.
Give it up. Just give up the idea of perfect. It doesn't exist. No. We should take it out of the dictionary. There's no such thing as perfect. It's not a word.
It's one man and his name's Jesus. That's it. Like, done. So.
Okay, so maybe we have to leave it in because
yeah, for that. One thing. We gotta leave it there for that. But striving for perfection is the thing I think that we hear in church, and we are asked to strive. I think we're just meant to strive to be better each day. I think the thing we forget is that it's us individually. We don't have control over what our kids do. In the end, they have agency. We don't have control over what our partner does in the end. We don't have control of what's going on in the world. I think we all know that by now. But I do have control of what I'm doing in this moment right now with you. Mm-hmm. That's what I have control of. And so I think it takes a lot off of us when we go, I'm present, I'm going to be intentional, and I'm going to do my best right now. And then when we know we've done our best, then we got to let go of the rest of it. We just have to. And I think we are tested the most through our children. Like, I do not think I could be at all the person that I am today without my children and the path that I've gone on in my motherhood. I wouldn't have the empathy that I have. I wouldn't have the understanding that I have. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be able to create something like this because I wouldn't have seen the need until I needed it, right? I needed a community of people to show me all the different kinds of motherhood so that it can be honored, so it can be supported, so that resilience can be a part of the language of what a mother is in whatever her story is, because it takes so much to be a parent. It just takes everything that you are, everything that you could be, shows you your weaknesses and your strengths, and stretches you and twists and turns you, and your heart is out there in the world, and you just want to protect it, but you can't because it's got to be its own person and it's not a part of you after a while. And so there's all these moving parts with it that we have to face, but we don't have to face it alone. And some mom out there, hey, you're a foster mom. Guess what? Here's one. Here's a mom who couldn't have children of her own. Like, you're not alone. You're not alone. And you are a mother. And you get to honor it. Like, you get to be a part of the community of mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a privilege. It's an honor and a privilege to work with teenage girls. And I mean, my daughters came to me through another woman, so I honor her womanhood and her motherhood. So I think that if we can just today help take the stigma out of open adoptions and like, let's not blame the birth mom. God used Ashley to provide me something that it was impossible for me to come up with on my own. So in that way, Ashley is an absolute equal part of my family. And I really don't like when people, want to criticize her. It's not fair.
Stereotypes or conclusions. Like when I mentioned I'm a birth mom, everyone thinks I had a child at 15 and I hid it because of the church that I'm in and the culture that we're in. I'm like, I was married. He was abusive. I was married. There's like all these assumptions. And I think too, some women are not set up for success in relationships. I certainly wasn't. I now know I was very vulnerable. I was an empath. I attracted narcissists. Did not know that in the thick of it. I didn't know what was going on. I was desperately seeking love. And who isn't? And so the birth mother story kind of needs to change. We had an episode not too long ago about stepmoms. And it's like, it's not Cinderella stepmoms anymore. There are a lot of stepmoms out there and there are good ones. Okay. And foster moms too. We hear there's bad foster parents who are just doing it for the money and blah, 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 blah. And how dare you not try harder to have a child of your own? Oh, please leave that out of the conversation. It's not constructive. It is not helpful. Pride is any time that you're putting yourself above or below other people. No need. I have special gifts and talents. You have special gifts and talents I don't have. We're all children of God. We all have value. We all matter. And we all have our unique flavor to bring to the world. We all have our unique light to shine. And that's the beauty of it. Me shining my light gives permission for you to shine your light, gives another mom permission to shine her light. So let's honor however these children come into the world. Let's honor life and the sacredity and the beauty and the miracle of what it is. I mean, his story is nuts because the week I found out I was pregnant with him, I was supposed to be tested for cancer and endometrial hyperplasia. And instead, I'm pregnant. So I go to one of my doctor's appointments, like, so how do you feel about going from cancer to pregnant? I'm like, I'll take pregnant. And then he pointed out, okay, well, I want to tell you something because the pregnancy rules out the cancer. And not only that, if it was the other thing, it would have been hysterectomy or hormone replacement. Well, guess what pregnancy is? The most natural hormone replacement you could get. Okay. And then I'm going to school and some different things. And I'm going to 2 universities at the same time during COVID on my own with 2 kids, solo pregnancy. Insane. Like just insane. But
just do a little more. You're not doing enough, Tiffany. Come on, do a little more.
Yeah. Okay. Well, get this though. Here's the other cool part of the story. So I hit finals week and he's born a few days later, right after I get my finals done. And not only that, it's his sister who's 10 years older than him's birthday.
Oh,
like, tell me God wasn't in that. Tell me God was not in that story. So don't assume what the story is. And don't assume that God can't make something beautiful out of it. And that you don't get to be a part of that because you can be, if you choose to be in anyone's story. You could choose to be the catalyst for creating that miracle or being a part of it. If you just judge, if you just think or you're uncomfortable, okay, yeah, you can be uncomfortable. Some people can handle trauma and deeper things. Other people can't. We all have our gifts, okay? But choose your lane on how you can serve and be a light in every situation you go into. If we all did that, the world would be such a better place.
Yeah. Well, I love that you're encouraging women and helping them be more resilient mothers because that is something that we absolutely need. And look at our wild little children. They are light as well. And we get to be a part of that. It's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yep. He's my little light out in the world. Yeah. All right. Well, he obviously wants mommy back. So if people wanted to find out about what you're doing, how they could do it, I mean, you got to write a book and you got to let me know when you do. Okay. Because your story is so special. And I think there's probably somebody else out there that, is struggling to the fertility journey is struggling, and maybe, your option happened in such a beautiful, neat way that you guys manifested it. Like, there's always possibility. There's always, I think anything is possible, especially with God. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my website is kimpatton.com, and I do have a book called Nothing Wasted that kind of talks about the infertility journal or the infertility journey.
Okay, I'm not surprised. There had to be. I'm like, that's too good of a story not to have a book. So
it's kind of like the theme is like struggling well through difficult seasons. So the difficult things that we go through, and obviously you have so many stories to that effect of like how God uses the difficult things that we go through. And then I also have a foster mama journal. So if you are a foster mama out there and you want a place to record the kids that come through your house, the gratitude list that you have been meaning to do for a long time, to help you embrace gratitude more, the foster journal has that, and it also has some scripture prayers that you can pray over yourself and your family. So I use my own journal that I created because that's what I wanted, is some place to write all the teenagers' names down and write down what I was grateful for and all the joy that they brought to my life, and just have it in one place, as well as a place to pray scriptures over them. And over me, because we often get discouraged and we don't see the good that we're doing. We just see all the ways that we think we're failing. But this podcast today has really encouraged me just to see the hope and the light that we are bringing to our family and the world, and, to choose resiliency and to choose to think of ourselves as resilient and believe that, and not just about other people, but no, I am that too.
Yes. Say it with me. I am resilient.
I am resilient. Woo!
Resilient. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, audience, for being here. Please comment below if you want to continue the conversation. Reach out to Kim. Let us know what other subjects you'd like or what other topics we can dive into to serve you best. And we'll let you know if we have anything special coming up. This is the end of the year. We're about to start the new year. And know you can go into it being the mother you always wanted to be. All right. Take care.
That's sweet.
Thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe so we can share this message. We are a worldwide podcast with guests all around the world, and we want to continue to grow this community. You can find us on socials. You could also be a guest. Look for that link below if you'd be interested in being a guest on the podcast. If you know a sponsor or would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me or Catherine as well.
Sure. We want you all on this journey. We want to hear your stories. We want to share your stories. We want to gain strength from each other, because together we're stronger. And to never forget the blessing of being a mother and what we're creating. We're creating the future every single day of our lives. So get on this train with us and let's do this thing, moms.
I believe in you. Believe in yourself. God bless. And we'll see you around. Take care.